I'm going to walk you through how I make my YouTube thumbnails using Photoshop. So I have the program open. I'm going to come up to File, click New. I'm just going to pick a random one. And then I'm going to set it to pixels. And I'm going to set the width to 1280 and the height to 720. And those are the normal dimensions for a thumbnail. And RGB color, and I don't think that needs to be that high. We'll do a normal web one. Okay, and here we go. It's a little big, so I'm going to go to View and zoom out just to make it less intense. Okay, and so there are probably other ways to do this next part, but this is just how I do it. I come up to File, and I go to Place Embedded. And then I'm going to go to the file where I have my image, whatever that is, image. Click my image. And this is a still from my video. I always just take my favorite still from it and then label it for thumbnail. And then that's the one that I will use. And it will put it in there, and you can move it around, scoot it where you want, and those pink guides will tell you when you get to the midsection. The other midsection, there it is. And so when you see them both crossing in the middle like that, it means you have it centered. And so then just click off to the side and it'll deselect it. And so this is a little bit dark, I think, for a thumbnail. And so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to come over to this little circle. It's the adjustment window. I'm going to come to brightness and contrast, and I'm going to raise the brightness up just a little bit. There we go. Just make it a little better there. Okay. And then I want to add text to this. So I'm going to come over to the little T, and it will be the horizontal type tool that I'm using here. And I click. And so I want to use my normal title font that I use is Griffey, and so I'm going to go ahead and change that, and then I highlight it, and I want to call this one, if I can spell it right, number 3, and then the next part of the title I want to be a separate font. Oh wait, just kidding. Do these in 2 different sections. Okay, so that part, and then I'll click and do a new one where that will go. So I'll paste that. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it helps to copy it if you're going to try to paste it, right? Number 3. Wait, what number is this? This is 4. Okay. I swear, this is my 3rd time making this too. You'd think I would have a better handle on it. All right, and then so come up to this again, and I'm going to use Antic Slab for that one. And I'm going to say Sumi ink because that's the medium I'm using. And so I'm going to make that one a little smaller. Let's try 48. Too small. I think 60 is the normal one that I do. And so see how that lets you type it, but then you move it a little and it has the cross arrows. That will let you move it around. You also could use the move tool up here, and that will let you move it around separately. And that, I like using the move tool because then it will give you guidelines. Like you can see in the middle, look right here, and it'll tell you if I'm lined up with the middle of the words above it. And so that can be really handy. Okay, and scoot that up a little more where we can see it. Probably a little more, maybe, if it'll do it. There we go. Okay, and it's a little hard to see that, and so I think what I would like to do is to change the color. So I'm going to come back to the type tool, and I'm going to highlight and click the white over here, and let's see. It's also hard to see. Okay, so we're going to try something else. I'm going to put that back to gray, and then I don't always use these, but on occasion they're helpful. And so I'm going to show you how to make rectangles behind the text. So then you come over to the rectangle tool here. How it gives you this cross, the lower right quadrant is where, like the center point of the lower right quadrant is where it will start your box. So you can kind of see it. And you hold your mouse down, the clicker. And so I'm going to come about where it will stick out on the edges of my words. And about right there, I think. And let go. And that will fill it in automatically with white. The only way I found to deselect this is to come over here and just click somewhere over here. And now I'm not able to see the words because they're underneath it. Because the layers panel here is in order. And so this is the very bottom, this is what's on the top. And so if I scoot this up, there it is over the top. And so I'm going to make another rectangle now. I think it's already selected. Alright, and I try to line it up. Oh, I overlapped it a tiny bit there. So we'll adjust that later. Okay, and see the peak line showed up, so it's even with the one above it. And let go. And that was already behind there. Okay, and then a little one for behind the Sumi ink. And I may not keep these, but I want to show you how I do them just in case you want to have ones of your own. Okay, and then the next thing that I like to do is to come up to my rectangles and to lower their opacity so that you can kind of see behind them. So that you can still see the letters, but you can see what's behind it too. So this is, I lowered this to about 57. I generally do like 50 to 60, somewhere in there. So I'm going to come to my next rectangle and do the same thing. And so since I know it's 57, I can just type that in and it'll do it. And that way it matches. And then 57 again. Okay, and so now you can see the overlap though. And so I'm going to come back over to my move tool and I'm going to scooch. Nope, not the words. Get the words out of the way. Scooch this down. There we go. And then move my words back over. And that looks a lot better. I do wish they were a little bit higher. It makes such a big gap through here, but that's just this font, I think. Okay, and so then what I do is I want to move all my words up to the top here so that all the rectangles are on the bottom. And I'm going to pair them together. Oh, let me show you how to change the color real quick. So if I wanted to change the color of my rectangles, I'm going to first select it. I'm going to come over to the bucket and I'm going to come over to my color. Let's say I wanted this color for funsies. So now see the little no sign? It's going to not want me to do it. And so it will say, do you want to rasterize that? I honestly don't remember what that means. Somebody more techie, I'm sure, can chime in. But I click OK and then it will let you, whoops, not do that. And then it will let you do the rectangle. And then so if I want to go back to white, I'm going to go back to white. There we go. And so now what I do is I'll combine them. And so this first rectangle, you can turn the visibility on or off right here, is with duckling and kite. So what I want to do is I want to click the rectangle one. I want to hold down Control or Command, I think, if you're on a Mac. And I want to come to where it matches. Then I right click, and you can let go of the control. Right click, and you have, where is it? Oh, it's not giving it to me. A lot of times it'll let you merge from right clicking, but it's not going to. So we're going to come up to layer, and we're going to say merge layers. And so that'll just merge the two that you put together. And so then, see? And so it lets you move them around all by themselves. And so I'm going to do the same thing with rectangle 2 and media experiment. I did it again. It's not over there, Nikki. Layer, merge layers, and then one more for rectangle and Sumi ink. And I will say though that, old habits, I will say though that it makes it more complicated. Like you want to make sure you have the right color and the right opacity, especially the right color, before you merge them, or you'll have to go back and undo everything to get them separate again. So now I can move these as a lump, And let's say I'm going to move them up here, move this one over here, and put this one here. I don't really like this. I'll probably redo this actually, to be honest. There we go. Let's try that. Okay, and then if you want to change the color of your text, you could come in with the text tool here, and I'm gonna highlight that, and then just pick on here. It's gonna show me the color I had already selected, and then so I click OK. And then same thing here. You have to do them all separate because I made them separate sections, but that's okay. And then there, one, whoops, just kidding. One more. Did it take it? That seems not that dark. Maybe I'll make that one. So since that one is a thinner font, it's not showing up as dark, so I'm going to make it a little bit darker than the other ones. There we go. See, now it stands out better. I actually think I might make that bigger. So I'm going to come up and type a 7 in there, so it makes it 70. Yeah, that is better. And I want to scoot it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I think that actually works pretty well. And so if, you know, I had decided not to keep the rectangles, but that's okay, you know, whichever works the best for the photo that you're using. So then to save it, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to just click save. Oh, sorry, I did it earlier and messed it up. So I'll do save as, we'll do a new one. Since I changed it, I'm going to say thumbnail edited and save. And you want to make sure that it's in the folder that your video is in. Click OK. And then the next thing I do is, because that saves your working file, so I can come back in here and keep editing it later or redo it if I wanted. I could even use it as a template for the next one. So what I want to do to be able to upload to YouTube is to save a copy. And so that will let me save a JPEG version. And that's what I'll be uploading to the Creator Content Studio. Click OK for about medium. Since it's for the web, it doesn't have to be super high quality. Okay, and that's about it. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. I'm not very techy, but I will try. All right, until next time.